Hey guys, my name is Devontae and I sacrificed my time so you don't have to. And I contemplated whether or not I wanted to release this video today because I kind of wanted the whole Pat Patterson video to kind of like, build up a little bit more momentum. But the more and more I think about it, it's like that was a very, very depressing video. And yeah, the downfall video, I guess, the video series in essence are kind of depressing in its own right. But for the most part, you could take it as it being depressing or you could take it as it being super duper fucking funny, right? Especially when the people are still thriving in their careers. It's just that they're not in the position where they were at previously, right? So I decided, you know what, yeah, let's just release this video today. Why the fuck not? I'm actually recording this video a little bit earlier in the day, probably around like 3 o'clock. So, I decided I was going to release it today. You're probably going to see it around like 6 or 7. So, yeah, whatever. My point being this, though, Adam Cole. Let's talk about Adam Cole. Adam Cole. So, as always, when it comes to these downfall series, I want to focus more on their mainstream stuff, or as mainstream as you could possibly get with these superstars' career. So, no, I'm not going to go back in the archives and look up his, CZW matches or his ROH matches or the stuff he did with the Bullet Club, or I don't really care about that. When it comes to Adam Cole, you have to be a diehard fan to give a crap about any of that shit. Not to mention, this is like in, the 2010s. I didn't watch ROH in the 2010s, so, I don't care. I don't care. What I do want to talk about, though, is him coming to WWE and NXT, because that's when he made his mark. And then we'll make our way all the way towards his, do I want to call it Pinnacle? Because, MJF, you get it, Pinnacle, MJF, whatever. My point being is we're going to make our way towards AEW. So, I will say, when he first came to NXT, I'm only speaking from my perspective, I heard of Adam Cole through some of my favorite YouTubers, from a wrestling perspective. Like, I listened to a bunch of Sanders Robbins 24 at the time when he was still making videos. Big Rat 310. I heard Traymore 629 talking about Adam Cole back in like 2012, 2013. And from what I understand, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, for people who, were, devout followers of ROH at the time back in the early to mid 2010s, from my understanding, a lot of people were shitting on Adam Cole. They were saying that, like, not that he necessarily wasn't a good wrestler, but compared to the talent that were already there in the company, they kind of felt like, oh, well, he's not really up to their standards. And they kind of felt that he was a little bit boring, that he didn't bring anything to the table. And, to see their reaction right now is just kind of like mind-boggling, because I'm like, okay, what the fuck did he do back then that was so bad, considering that you guys love him right now? But someone could correct me. I heard a lot of people talking shit about Adam Cole back in the days, back on the forums and stuff like that. But when he comes to, the NXT and shit like that, look, I knew who he was, but I didn't recognize him. So when he attacked Drew McIntyre after the whole shit at NXT Brooklyn back in 2017, and, he was trying to set himself up into a position. I mean, think about that for a second, too, because he came along with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. That's when the Undisputed Era, they all debuted together. But think about that. Keep that in mind. Drew McIntyre, one of the biggest wrestlers in the world today, was made to look like a joke by Adam Cole. Can you actually really picture that in your mind nowadays? It's fucking crazy when you think about it, right? But I think that was, correct me if I'm wrong, was that one of Drew McIntyre's, last appearances on NXT? I don't quite remember him doing much afterwards. Someone can correct me. Did he ever have, an official match with McIntyre? I don't remember. I just remember him attacking him, when the show was over in Brooklyn in 2017. But I do remember him having that weird-ass War Games match when it was, Sanity, with Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane and Eric Young. And then they were taking on, the Arthurs of Pain, and I think, was it Roddy? I think it was Roddy, right? And, the Undisputed Era it was so weird, because it was like a 3-team War Games, and I just did not like that at all. I was pretty off and on with NXT at the time, but I kept up with it, kind of like how I'm doing right now. I didn't like any of that stuff that was going on at the moment, and, he was kind of trying to, do two things at once. He was trying to support, the Undisputed Era as far as the War Games stuff was considered. But then at the same time, I think he was feuding with Malachi at the time, or I guess Aleister Black. He has a video coming out too, by the way. But he was trying to do two things at one time, right? And I still remember the match he had with Aleister Black. Was that fuck. Oh, man. What was the Royal Rumble at in 20 Philly, right? Okay, so that'd have been NXT Philly, because I think they were in Philly in 2018 for the Royal Rumble. So that would have, I think that would mean that NXT was in Philly also, right? If I'm not mistaken. So they had like a no disqualification match, and it was brutal. It was gruesome. But, you know, at this point in time, even by 2018 standards, you know, again, the matches in NXT were good, but I was starting to hit that point, kind of like how I am right now, even going as far back as 2018, where I'm like, okay, like, I don't really care about the actual in-ring stuff anymore. We've kind of seen it all for the most part, but nevertheless, though, it was still a relatively good match. I remember, you know, the Undisputed Era coming out to help. I think he beat Aleister Black in that match, too, if I'm not mistaken. And he was doing other stuff also, like when he became the, believe it or not, he was the first ever North American champion. That's when he won it in that big ass ladder match with Velveteen Dream and Lars Ulrich, Mr. I Play With Myself and I Make Racist Remarks Online type of shit, and yeah, man, bitch ass nigga type of shit. But yeah, that was a great match also. I remember that Dave Meltzer, he gave that shit 5 stars, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, what does he not give 5 stars, but still. Yeah, but Adam Cole, he was the inaugural NXT champion, North American champion. And as time started to go on throughout the year, I remember him feuding with people like Ricochet. That's when he first came into the company, probably like, what was like a year prior? No, he came in that year, because that's when he started feuding with, Velveteen Dream, when he did a little flip outside of the ring. That wasn't my first exposure to Ricochet, because I seen the shit with him and Will Ospreay that Vader was talking shit about, you know, a couple of months prior to, no, that was probably like 2 years prior to that. At that point, I think that happened in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he was doing all these, you know, matches with Ricochet and Pete Dunne for the NXT North American Championship. That, I will say, I love those matches. I still remember when who was it, Ricochet? I think Ricochet, like, they do it nowadays oh so much, but it was so fucking cool when I seen it at the time. I remember that match with Pete, Ricochet, and Adam Cole. I think it was on regular NXT television too, when they both, I think Ricochet tried to go for like a line salt, and then Adam Cole and Pete Dunne both simultaneously kicked him in the face while he was springboarded in the line salt. It was really cool. I fucking loved that match right there. That was a really, really dope ass match. But you know, as time started to go on throughout 2017, he's pretty much just trying to prove his worth within the company in itself, right? And eventually, you know, you get to around 2019, and he had this match with Johnny Gargano, which everybody praises. I really don't give a fuck about it, but everybody was praising the shit out of this match, bruh. So first, Adam Cole, he ended up winning like this multi-man match for the NXT Championship. No, I'm sorry. It was supposed to be, it wasn't for the NXT Championship, right? No, because he fought Johnny Gargano. That's the match I'm talking about. I'm like, everybody praises the shit out of for no reason. No, that's when he fought Johnny Gargano. I think the NXT Championship at that point in time, I think it was vacated. I can't remember why it was vacated, but it was vacated. And yeah, he had a match with Johnny Gargano at the TakeOver show. I think in New York, right? If I'm not mistaken, someone can correct me. But the match and stuff, I know people like get all like giggly tits about and shit. I personally don't care. I know people are like, oh, it's a 5-star classic. Damn, it's a 5-star classic. I bet it is a 5-star classic. To you, not to me. But eventually, when he won the championship belt, he started to, you know, do certain things on television here and there. Like, I remember that was like late 2019 when him and he had that, you know, I do remember this great match he had with Bryan Danielson on one of the episodes of SmackDown that was building up to like the trifecta Survivor Series, NXT's involved Survivor Series match. He had a great match with Bryan Danielson. I think he had another great match at Survivor Series too with did he fight Pete Dunne? And was that Pete Dunne? Did he fight? I think he fought Pete Dunne, right, at the Survivor Series that year, if I'm not mistaken. If I say that shit one more time, if I'm not mistaken. But I think he did. I remember the brainbuster on the apron. Outside of that, it is what it is. And, you know, he was kind of like, that's when they were doing the whole NXT UK shit crossover with, you know, the Worlds Collide shit bullshit. And I do remember them trying to hype up the Undisputed Era versus, fuck. What the hell is Gunther's stable called again? Imperium. They were trying to do the whole Gunther Imperium taking on the Undisputed Era shit and Worlds Collide, and it was I didn't care either. But Cole eventually he did have a match with wait, what did he do? I think he had a match with Velveteen Dream and like a parking lot brawl match or some shit, and he ended up winning that match also. Mind you, by this point in time, I think because who was the longest reigning NXT champion at this point? Was it Shinsuke Nakamura? I remember them talking about it around that time on one of the NXT episodes. Maybe actually during that parking lot brawl match, or maybe beforehand. I don't know. But I do remember them saying that he was like the longest reigning NXT champion. I can't remember who record he beat. I don't know. Who was the longest reigning NXT champion prior to that? It wasn't Johnny. It wasn't Tommaso. It wasn't Joe. It wasn't Nakamura. Drew didn't have it that long. Who would have been the champions? Oh, it wasn't Finn. Oh, actually, it probably was Finn Balor. He had that bitch for a minute. Actually, it probably was Finn Balor now that I think about it. But yeah, I can't remember who the fuck he beat. But nevertheless, though, he did have the longest reigning fucking championship run and whatever of all time. Before Keith Lee ended up winning the match, and like he had like this match at the Great American Bash when there was like a winner takes all match, because like Keith Lee had the North American Championship. And he had the obviously NXT championship, and he ended up beating them and taking the championship belt. I remember covering that also, because like one of the dumb fucks from I can't remember what wrestler, but one of the dumb fucks ended up taking the picture, because it was a pre-taped show, and he ended up taking a picture of Keith Lee celebrating with the NXT championship, and then he sent it out online, and he ruined the entire main event. It was so based. It was super duper duper scooper pooper based. But then eventually, you know, he turned face, and then he had like this feud with Pat McAfee. You guys remember Pat McAfee when he was a heel, and him and, you know, Adam Cole started going after it? I forgot what he did, bro. It was the funniest shit in the world, bro. I can't remember what position Adam Cole was in, but bro, I remember I bust out laughing when Pat McAfee, he kicked him in the fucking head, and like Adam Cole, his head, because he had a bobblehead, so his shit just went wobble 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 wobble. That motherfucker died, bro. That shit had me cracking up, bro. But nevertheless, he did have a somewhat good match with Pat McAfee at one of the TakeOver shows. I think he actually won that match too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I said it again. Fuck. Put a count on that bitch. But it was all a ruse, because eventually, I think he had a match with, no, didn't he have a, War Games match with the Undisputed Era versus, Pat McAfee's guys or some shit like that? And I think, Adam Cole and, one of the Undisputed Era members, they did do a Dusty. I'm trying to think. I'm using my mind right now, because I was actually having to fucking review some of these shows at the time. I think that's when they did the whole shit with Adam Cole and, who was it? Roderick, I think? Who were like, they were competing in like the Dusty Classic or some shit. And, you know, I think that's when Kyle O'Reilly, because I actually reviewed that show too, when Kyle O'Reilly was going up against Finn Balor in the main event for like the NXT championship, and everybody was super hyped, like, oh, Kyle O'Reilly's gonna win the championship belt, but like he didn't win it, and then Adam Cole turned heel again, and then he super kicked Kyle O'Reilly, and then they had like this big fucking feud that everybody praises, but I just don't give a fuck about. And honestly, until I fucking mention it right now, you probably forgot all about it too. And, you know, they were having all these matches. Eventually, it was like an unsanctioned match at one of the NXT shows that Cole ended up losing the match to. And honestly, at this point in time, like, it's really just him just faltering, right? He ended up having like a 2 out of 3 falls match with Kyle O'Reilly, if I remember, afterwards at one of the NXT shows too. And I think, I can't remember anything else he did at that point in time, because this was in what, 2000 and, was this in 2022 or was this in 2000? I feel like this was in 2021, right? Because that's when he debuted in All Elite Wrestling. Because I know the whole going theory at the time, right, was that like he was wanting to come up to the main roster, but like it was some shit where Vince McMahon wanted to stick him as a manager for Keith Lee, which is so goddamn based. But obviously he didn't want to do that. He was like, why are you gonna do this to me? And he was like, and I think they wanted to cut his hair or some shit too, and like Like, they're gonna give him a new name change. Bro, they wanted to do all this shit. They wanted to cut his hair. They thought he was too small to be anything like, you know, productive. So they wanted to make him a manager for Keith Lee. I think I remember them saying that they wanted to change his name also. I reported on this. I made a video on this. I think I remember them saying they wanted to change his name because it was like they already had Michael Cole on there and they didn't want to confuse Michael Cole with Adam Cole or some shit. It was crazy, bro. I bust out laughing when I made that video. Y'all remember that video? Millennial Smark? I had COVID at the time. Y'all remember? You remember? I remember. But eventually, he makes his way to All Elite Wrestling. Clean new slate. Adam Cole is here, baby. He has a new theme song. You know it's all about the boom. Adam Cole, baby. I know it's all about the boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? This fucking Rage Against the Machine rip-off ass theme song. But it is what it is, though. And I find it funny, too, because remember when he showed up? This is after CM Punk debuted already, right? Like, probably a couple of weeks shy of that, right? Because he had his match with Darby Allin at the show. And everybody was, like, waiting, because we all knew that Bryan Danielson was going to show up. And I remember, that's when Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, they were all... And I forgot the match that they had. Who did the Elite fight at Nah, it wasn't the Elite. It was Kenny Omega versus who was in the main event of the All Out 2021? It was it Kenny Omega and wait, didn't Christian? Oh, you know, I think it was Christian. Cuz that's when Christian beat Kenny for the TNA championship, right? Like I think it was Christian in the main event of All Out in 2021. And like you had the Young Bucks there and you know, it's the Bullet Club. So Adam Cole shows up and I don't know about you guys, me personally, I didn't give a shit. Everybody was cheering. Oh my god, it's Adam Cole. He's a part of the Bullet Club now. I did not give the slightest fuck at all. I was actually disappointed because I was like, where the fuck is Bryan Danielson? I thought we were going to get Bryan Danielson. And then Danielson actually did show up. And I was like, yeah, you were only here as the appetizer, Adam. We wanted the main course and Bryan Danielson. But he did come to AEW and he immediately like turned heel because he sided with the Bullet Club guys. And, you know, I think they were saying something along the lines of like Adam Cole was saying like he wanted, because I remember I covered this video too, that he wanted to show up because that's when WWE was doing the whole fucking Twitch or like the social media seizing of the talents platforms or some shit. And you know, they weren't gonna pay the talents. Like they were like, oh, you know, like all the money you're gonna make through your social media platforms like Twitch and shit should automatically come to us, and like you got your downside guarantee, so just be happy with that, which was such bullshit at the time. And I think that was Adam Cole, like one of his reasonings as to why he wanted to leave WWE. I mean, that I'm pretty sure he didn't like the fact that he was gonna be fucking Keith Lee's bitch boy. But you know, he didn't really do anything productive in my opinion. I mean, I think his first feud, like his legitimate first feud, was with like Orange Cassidy. He was floundering even by that point for like a good 2 or 3 months. He didn't really sink his teeth into anything substantial until he went up against Orange Cassidy, which, by the way, if you guys remember, he ended up losing the entire rivalry. I can't remember what kind of matches they were having at the time. I still remember the Lights Out match because that was the finish when fucking Orange Cassidy and him were on top of the stage, and then Orange Cassidy hugged him and they went through tables and he won the fucking match, which was fucking dumb. It was so goddamn stupid. And then like he had a match with who was it? Did he have a match with Hangman Adam Page at that year's Revolution, right? Because I think Hangman already beat Kenny Omega at Full Gear, and I think he had a match with Adam Cole, right, at Revolution. And it was so dumb because this is around the time when I'm like, and I remember I was bitching about this and I was like, he doesn't have any heat on him. He didn't do a fucking thing. Why is he getting a title shot? It's so fucking stupid. But he ended up getting the title shot. And, you know, it was just a nothing match. It felt like it was in the main event. I think it was in the main event, right? I believe it was in the main event because that was Revolution 2022, right? That isn't the one that I bitched about with Jon Moxley and the whole fucking, you know, explosion, right? It was the big explosion. Because that was a show, and I remember I was bitching about that in the Revolution pay-per-view. I was like, how the fuck you gonna have CM Punk and MJF in the dog collar match in the middle of the card when it's clearly your hottest feud at that moment, but you're gonna put this match in the fucking main event with literally no heat attached to it whatsoever? It's so dumb, and it was stupid, and it was just pointless as fuck. And like, he ended up getting a rematch with him. I remember watching that match too, the Texas Death Match, and like, he lost that match also. And this dude was just taking L's left and fucking right, like left and goddamn right. This motherfucker was taking L's, right? And I remember that's when Jay White, because they had like this whole thing going on when they want to do like a fatal four-way match at Forbidden Door, and it was Jay White and two other people that I cannot fucking remember. Was that the first time they were going to actually establish the International Championship, or do I got my timelines confused? I probably got my timelines confused. But yeah, or was it? I don't know. But they had a nothing fatal four-way match, and by that point in time, I think, did he get his concussion yet? I think he got his concussion already in this match, if I'm not mistaken. Because I know he didn't I don't remember anything as far as like substance that he was doing going forward. I sort of kind of remember him having a match with Jay White, right? At one of the fucking New Japan shows. I remember them boosting that up. I think it was for the New Japan Pro Wrestling or the IWGP Championship. But it doesn't fucking matter, because like literally after that, he just went bye-bye. He went bye-bye. He had that fatal four-way match at one of those fucking New Japan shows, and then the motherfucker went bye-bye. He was gone. He was deuces, PIs, all that shit. And he had a concussion. I mean, this motherfucker was out for like the remainder of 2022. And then he comes back and like he's like a face, and like he starts to feud with Chris Jericho, because like I said, whenever you want to build up your momentum, you want to go directly up against the momentum killer himself, Chris Jericho, right? And he did that. He was a face at this point, and he had Roderick Strong watching his back, and Jericho and Roderick had this stupid fucking no disqualification match. And then eventually Cole and Jericho had a match, and Sabu got involved inside of it. I think it was like an unsanctioned match. And I remember everybody was shitting all over this match. I didn't even think it was really all that bad, but everybody thought it was fucking garbage. They thought it was fucking terrible. But Cole ended up winning it. I think it was because that's when Saraya for some reason got involved, and it was Jericho and, you know, Adam Cole and Britt Baker, which by this point in time, everybody, I think the news already started circulating that Britt Baker was in an open relationship. Not to confirm it, not saying that it is. I talked about this already in my Britt Baker video a couple of weeks ago. But news was starting to circulate that Britt Baker was in an open relationship and she was fucking around with Christian. And I'm not sure how Adam Cole responded to that, but I'm just saying this motherfucker ain't living the high life right now, right? You're having a concussion, playing video games and shit while your girlfriend's out most likely banging some other dick, and you're perfectly fine with that because open relationships are the best thing in the fucking world, right? But as time starts to go on, he eventually gets into a championship match with MJF, or a championship feud with MJF. They had this stupid ass eliminator match where like I can't even remember the fucking finish to it, to be honest with you. I think they both because it was so dumb. They were doing this, and then at the same time they were teaming up and then winning the ROH championship belts, and they were running this angle where like they were best friends. This is all last year. I'm saying this shit like this is prehistoric times, but it was all dumb. It was all stupid. And at this point, I could probably feel for Adam Cole. He was probably thinking to himself, fuck. And Triple H is now just starting to come into power too. I feel bad for the young man. Not really. But he did have this whole little arc, and then eventually him and MJF had a match at Wembley last year where they main evented, where Adam Cole and MJF both got overshadowed by CM Punk on his way out of the door. That's a nice way to slap someone in the face with your dick, am I right? And then eventually they lost the ROH championship belts to, because around this time, Adam Cole, he fucked up his ankle. He did some stupid shit where he jumped. It was actually a freak accident. I think he jumped off the entranceway trying to make a save for MJF or some shit, and he fucked up his ankle and shattered it in a multiple upon multiple ways. And he's still out to this very day because of that injury. But, you know, they eventually lost the ROH Tag Team Championship belts to the Kingdom, or what's his name? Cuck Benet and his friend Raven, quote the Matt Taven Nevermore. I don't fucking know. And, you know, they were building up the story where the devil was out to come get MJF and all his friends and all his allies, and it ended up being Adam Cole. And with this stable being the devil, which was dumb as fuck, it ended up being Adam Cole, Wardlow, and the Kingdom, including Roderick Strong this time. And they ended up beating the shit out of MJF, who was like, "You're the devil," as if no one seen this shit coming. And they floundered completely. It was a complete failure of a stable. They were probably like represented like on 2 or 3 shows before it was like deemed like a failure. And Wardlow has not been seen since. The Undisputed Kingdom are now feuding for the FTW Championship, and Adam Cole is still out. Now, Adam Cole did try to make a return to a lesser degree, you know, like he called out MJF for some shit, or made remarks about MJF while he was out because they attacked them at that show, the World's End show, and MJF comes out and he returns and he hits him with a brainbuster, and he hasn't been seen since. That's the story of Adam Cole from NXT to now. And the overall review when it comes to this is Adam Cole probably hates life right now. His girlfriend is making all these remarks. She had a stroke also, and she's fucking some other dick on a consistent basis while you're sitting your bobblehead ass inside some chair playing video games, watching your career flash right before your eyes at the tender age of 35 years old, saying to yourself, "Holy shit, Triple H and Shawn Michaels are now in charge of WWE. I wish I would have stayed, because Tony Khan is treating me like another accessory, when in reality, I consider myself to be one of the best wrestlers in the world, and I'm not being treated as such." It's a downfall of epic proportions, considering that this guy was at one time at peak, one of the best NXT performers of all time. Legitimately the longest running NXT World Champion of all time, only to come to another company thinking that he's going to make better of his career because he avoided potential disaster going to the main roster dealing with fucking Vince McMahon, who funny enough, he was out by like a year later, right? And then 2 years later completely, he shows up the AEW thinking he's going to do something, when in reality he immediately fell right in the place of everybody else. And like I said, his actual relationship is in shambles from what it looks like. I mean, actually, there's no confirmation from that, but it seems like it, so I'm just going to run with it anyways. He's constantly getting injured, whether it's a concussion, whether it's his ankle. All these injuries are taking him out for a long period of time, and, you know, constantly being a loser. He loses like almost every fucking match. Like, the only match that he can actually win is when he go up against the momentum killing himself, Chris Jericho. So, I mean, what's the moral of the story? I don't know. Don't leave the company. Spread your cheeks wider next time. I don't fucking know. You figure out a fucking conclusion. Some moral to the story. It's a downfall series. If there was a moral to this story, these wrestlers would not be here right now. He'll probably be back in a couple of months, floundering much worse than what he is right now. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, or don't. See if I give a shit. Deuces. Peace.